So let's go ahead, greening cells, Galar Mine this. We are going to be able to use VSTAR, bringing up the single strike Urshifu V with our ability, and we are going to be able to knock it out with Grass Knot here. So Grass Knot doing 240 damage. You are now watching Zach Lesage, the best place to learn about competitive Pokemon TCG. Let's get it! Yo, what's poppin' peeps? Welcome back to the channel. Zach Lesage here. Today we are going to be covering over Leafeon. Now, this is going to be a deck profile and gameplay, so stay tuned. Now, a lot of you might have seen the new Leafeon VSTAR. I know that I've been intrigued with seeing V-Stars on PTCGO this early. A lot of us have already thought that it's only going to be coming with Brilliant Stars with the new V-Star mechanic, but it's here early. It's kind of a promo product, and that's really why it's there. Now, V-Star powers are available on V-Star Pokemon. They might be abilities, attacks, etc., and you can only use one during the game. So very similar to the GX marker, you're flipping something over and then being able to use it. In this case, you can kind of gust up one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and replace it with their active Pokemon. This Pokemon actually isn't too shabby of an attacker either, because otherwise Leafeon would struggle against a deck such as Zacian Zamazenta, because you have no way to get through the Zamazenta V with its Dauntless Shield ability. Well, you could actually attack with a Leafeon V-Star because it's different than a Leafeon VMAX. And since it's a different name, you could actually run 2 Leafeon V-Star and 3 Leafeon VMAX, and they both evolve from Leafeon V. Now, the Leafeon VMAX is probably the main part of this deck in a lot of ways, because this Leafeon V-Star is really just a gust, a side attacker. You also have access to this Leafeon VMAX that has its Grass Knot attack, so you're doing 60 times your opponent's retreat cost, which is pretty good because we have ways to increase the retreat cost. Now, the reason why Leafeon's seeing a little bit less play nowadays is because Leafeon is not necessarily hitting retreat costs as hard, with Mew and Jolteon both having 0 retreat costs. But with a little help from Galar Mine, we are able to increase retreat costs and kind of make this deck work. Is this deck going to be any better? Honestly, we're going to find that out in this video. Give this video a thumbs up, helps boost the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We're trying to get to 10K. We're under 500 peeps. Let's get it. And let me know in the comments below what you think about this deck. In the description, there is a copy of the deck list. You can copy paste that right into PTCGO, and you can go to PTCGOstore.com, plug in code ZLesage5 to save 5% on any codes that you use to trade towards this deck. Let's jump into the deck profile. So here you have it, the Leafeon VMAX V-Star deck. We're just going to call it Leafeon for what it's worth. We have the Leafeon V that you start things off with using greening cells. So you can accelerate an energy, usually onto itself, so you could attach like a capture energy for turn, make sure that you're able to get out a Sobble. Then you could evolve, or then you could put down Leafeon V, use greening cells, all that good stuff. There's a lot of ways to really make this deck work. If you have 2 energies on your Leafeon V, you can kind of turn into a Leafeon V-Star if you like, which allows you to kind of hit with Leaf Guard, and you can maybe just take out something out with Leaf Guard automatically. Or you can go to Leafeon VMAX if it's an appropriate matchup. Now, again, I don't necessarily think that this deck is the best position deck right now. Victini's seeing some peak play. You have a lot of decks that kind of counter this deck, such as Mew and Jolteon and Gengar all having low retreat costs, but we do have ways around it in some ways, such as attacking with the Leafeon V-Star, having access to Galar Mine, and even a Fan of Waves. I think those are all cool things. We're using the Drizzile line to kind of search things out, shady dealings, adding extra damage with quick shooting, all that kind of good stuff. I think that this deck is cool. We're definitely going to try it out and maybe play a game or two. And if you are looking to try to play around with this deck or anything else like that, or learn a little bit more about this metagame, feel free to hit me up on metafy.gg/@ZachLesage. I offer one-on-one coaching there, and I can help players of all skill levels grow. You can check that out in the description and hit me up today via Discord or Twitter if you have any questions. But I do have open applications for coaching, so you can get started as early as this week for any upcoming in-real-life events or online events. Let's jump into some gameplay, see how this deck works, because I think Leafeon V-Star and VMAX is pretty self-explanatory, very similar to the Leafeon VMAX that's been seeing some success. So I'm going to be playing against my teammate from the Shuffle Squad, Logan McKay. I lost the coin flip, which, I mean, I guess that's okay. We'll have to see what Logan decided to come up with here. We have a decent start, kind of what we were talking about with the Sobble and the capture energy plays and stuff like that. So far, not really too bad at all. We have access to Quick Ball. We have access to Capture Energy. Looks like we're probably playing against Single Strike, which is one of the few good matchups that we have for this deck. And of course, I'd love some extra cards. We'll put the Leafeon down on our turn, considering they can affect our hand. One thing that too many players do is kind of try to play around that. Now, their Pokemon have large retreat costs, and they don't really have a way to hide them. So if we're able to ever attack with Leafeon VMAX, I think we're absolutely chilling in this matchup. Whereas Leafeon VSTAR is just kind of a cool tool that you could be using against things like Zamazenta or anything that blocks VMAX Pokemon. VSTARs are very cool, and you can see we have those cool new VSTAR markers. So let's see what we can do here. I know that they can only attach a couple energies. Let's go ahead, put Leafeon down. Let's go ahead, put down Capture Energy on this Leafeon. Search our deck for another Sobble. We're gonna go. Do we want to do anything here? We might want to just go Escape Rope into, because they don't have they have very few ways to get around. I think if we just go Escape Rope, they might not really have too much else here. Yeah, let's go Escape Rope into our other Sobble, just so that they have a higher chance of not being able to get too much stuff out. We're gonna keep the Sobble there. We're gonna go Quick Ball away a Quick Ball for another Leafeon, just in case anything happens to this one. We have access to Raihan, and we could be able to search through our deck and stuff like that. We're gonna put this down, and we're actually gonna split the energies between the two and not play as supporter. So let's go ahead, Greening Cells. Just want to double check. Yeah, we have. That's why we played 2 Leafeon VSTAR, because we already have one prized. So we're just gonna attach the other energy. So split your energies whenever possible. It does really help you kind of have things set up. If they take out one, you have one set up for the other way. So hopefully fingers crossed we can kind of make it past this turn. Okay, so Logan did have access to a lot of good stuff and might be able to knock us out, but we might be able to get the knockout the turn after that as well, depending on how things go. So there's Tool Jammer. That's fine. We're really looking for a Galar Mine and a Leafeon VMAX next turn. So let's see. I also think that Logan's going to be trying to get an Umbreon VMAX and knock out one of these Pokemon really quickly. So there's the energy there. Yeah, it looks like we're going to lose the Leafeon, probably with the grass energy attached to it if I ever saw one. But let's see. There's the Umbreon VMAX. I really like Logan's alt arts. So it's a bit of a struggle this game so far. Single Strike absolutely busting through, but we should be okay still. I think, yeah, there's the one with the grass energy. You know, everything's vibing, everything's cool. This one's just gonna get impact blown up. So there's that impact blow. Let's go ahead and send up our Leafeon V here, and depending on what we top deck, we might just be able to get it all. Let's see, top deck gods, come on. We did not get what we were entirely looking for. Now we will go with Drizzile first, because we should be able to find out something. They have 2 retreat costs there. I mean, I'd rather get the attack off with the Leafeon VMAX first. Or actually, if we go for Drizzile, they took out the one with the energy, and we can search for a Leafeon VMAX. No, I think that's the wrong choice, because we still need a little bit more there. So, Galar Mine or our Leafeon VMAX. Part of me says we just go for Leafeon VMAX at first. Even though there's a lower chance of us getting the Galar Mine, and there's a higher chance of us getting something else, I think there's a better chance of us getting it. You know what? We got to go with odds when it comes to playing it. It's tough because I want to be able to get an attack off, but when it comes down to it, if I don't get an attack off, they're probably just going to evolve into a Single Strike Urshifu VMAX. So one thing that you got to kind of look at is if there's not really a next turn, or if they're able to kind of circumvent whatever your half strategy is, you got to go for it. So the reason why we're doing this is because we have more odds of getting a Leafeon VMAX out of our deck with Evolution Incense, Level Balls, all that kind of stuff, than we do of getting Galar Mine out when we play Marnie. So let's go ahead, Galar Mine this, put down Leafeon V, because we can have another one back up. We have our energy, and let's go ahead and play Marnie. We're only looking for a Leafeon VMAX in order to get the knockouts. There you have it. We have the Leafeon VMAX, and we have access to another Level Ball. So I think we're absolutely chilling here. We're going to keep kind of our cards in play. So there's that. We're going to put down another Sobble here. And we're going to just keep this for whatever our opponent whatever we want to do here. So let's go for the Grass Knot attack. Knockout, because our opponent now has 4 retreat cost. and we're doing 240 damage. That's a huge attack, and I think that's just absolutely amazing for our deck. Now, next turn, we might be able to go for a Leafeon V to a V-Star and bring up whatever Pokemon they might be powering up, because they can only attach, well, they can attach 3 energies this turn, but we could also probably knock out this Umbreon VMAX the following turn as well, because they are weak to grass, something that makes this matchup slightly in our favor. I don't think they'll be able to knock us out this turn either. They might be able to bring up this Leafeon V and knock that out. And if they do, then we're just going to roll with this other Leafeon VMAX. Oh, they didn't really get much. Kind of a rough start for them. So we could actually go ahead and bring up this single strike Urshifu V with Leafeon VSTAR's ability, just putting ourselves in a really strong position. So let's go ahead and make that happen. Let's go for the Evolution Incense. We're going to search our deck for the Leafeon VSTAR. We now have access to all this good stuff. So we have access to our VSTAR ability. We can go ahead now and go scoop up net our Drizzile so we can start building up energies or something like that on another Pokemon. Let's go ahead, do this. Search our deck for an Energy Search. And I do want to make sure that we have another Leafeon. So yeah, there's Energy Search. We can now Quick Ball away this Raihan. Search our deck for a Leafeon, because now since this one's just kind of like a supporter, in this one, like we're just keeping it as a support Pokemon on the bench, and it's going to be able to use its Leafeon V-Star ability. That's cool. Let's go ahead and grab a Grass Energy. There's the Grass Energy, and we are going to go ahead, attach that there, attach this here, and we're going to play Professor's Research in the same turn, because we can play both in the same turn, which is huge for us. I don't really know if there's too much else that we want to be able to do. Like, part of me really just wants to knock this out and then bring something else up. That might be really cool, but they could also just like bring this up and knock it out. So that's another thing. The single strike Urshifu V is definitely the more difficult Pokemon. So we are going to be able to use Ivysaur, bringing up the single strike Urshifu V with our ability, and we are going to be able to knock it out with Grass Knot here. So Grass Knot doing 240 damage, putting ourselves in a pretty like close to just winning this game scenario. I know we'd probably struggle against a Mew VMAX deck or maybe even a Jolteon deck because of their lack of retreat costs, but if your opponent doesn't really have too much else, like you can kind of target things down really early with Leafeon V-Star. Now, Logan has to be careful because he actually can't attack us with Umbreon VMAX because we just knock it out because of Galar Mine. So Logan's really looking for a way to bump Galar Mine, and our hand is so big that Logan also probably just has to play Marnie. So really Tower of Darkness plus Marnie is Logan's best case scenario while trying to attack us with a non-Umbreon VMAX. And I mean, just putting the single strike Urshifu V down, we could probably knock it out as well with like Max Leaf or something like that, or something really close to that. And if anything even happens after that, I think we're still just chilling, hoping if worse comes to worse that we do not have Boss's Orders, but we play Boss's Orders and we play Ivysaur. So there's Boss. Cool, we actually have access to Switch, so we should just be able to win the game. We're going to go Switch here, totally searching our deck out. We have this Inteleon. We're going to give Logan the Well Played, and we should have access to Boss's Orders in the deck. We could have got the Galar Mine just in case. But we're going to go Boss's Orders, bring this up, and just knocking out 3 single strike Urshifu V to win the game is huge. Just, you can see how Ivysaur really can make this deck and bring it all together. It's kind of crazy. And there you have it, folks. That's what we got going on for that game. As you can see, the Ivysaur V-Star power was absolutely huge, bringing up Pokemon that Logan did not want us to have up in the active spot. It's how Boss's Orders works, but similar to how when Mew plays Catcher and then plays Elisas in the same turn, Leafeon V-Star allows us to use the ability to gust something up and then play Research to better set up our board state. So Leafeon V-Star, beyond adding potential attackers against things such as Zamazenta, or even against Mew, like, I mean, it's a 2 prize card Pokemon. It can definitely help us figure out some struggles that we currently have with the deck. I do think the Leafeon V-Star adds a lot to this deck, and we were able to really use all aspects of Leafeon, with Leafeon V to accelerate the energies, Leafeon V-Star to use Ivysaur, and Leafeon VMAX as the main attacker. I don't necessarily suggest playing this deck right now. I don't necessarily think it's well positioned in the metagame, and luckily Logan was playing Single Strike and not Mew or Jolteon or even Victini. But if you do choose the right kind of metagame to play this deck in, it can be incredibly strong. I've also tried Leafeon V-Star and Mew VMAX builds just to have that free gust. I did try Counterbox, Leafeon V-Star deck, a Sylveon V-Star deck. Not on the channel, just more of my personal testing. I think Leafeon V-Star is incredibly underrated. That almost took the breath out of it. Incredibly underrated. So I heavily recommend for people to kind of check it out and maybe pick up some of those Leafeon VSTAR promos. They might be able to have them at PTCGO store. You could always use code Lesage5 to save 5% on your next order of codes. Maybe they had the promo code. Maybe you could pick up some codes to trade for them online. They've gone down to about 14-15 packs for trading of Fusion Strike at the time of recording of this video. So check those out. I picked up my playset just in case this card's ever that worthwhile. You never know, right? I think it's a pretty cool deck, and I like that it breathes life back into this deck. If you also want to support this channel, consider picking up a YouTube channel membership. It's a great way to help support me and get access to all of my early deck lists. I put all my deck lists in Discord. You have access to all of them, and at all given times, and I think it's only like $5 a month, so really it helps support me as a content creator. You get access to all the deck lists, $5 a month. It's kind of a steal. We all have Netflix, and that's a little bit more than $5, right? So I also offer one-on-one coaching at Metafy. You can go to metafy.gg/@ZachLesage. Consider picking up a coaching package. You can learn a lot from me as a player, even if it's just one session, or even if you want to do something a little bit more than that, like one session a week. I totally love to hear back from you and see exactly what's going on and help you learn the inner kind of game and what's going on with Pokemon, because I think everyone can grow. Some people just don't necessarily know how much they can grow. That being said, I gotta go edit this video. I'll catch up with everyone later. I really appreciate all the support. Thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think about this deck, or if there's any other decks that you want me to cover. Next week is going to be the end of their Fusion Strike content, or the last trail end of it. So we should have Brilliant Stars content up real soon. The set does release on PTCGO on the 24th, so stay tuned for that. Peace out and have a great one. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. And my goal with this channel is to spread my love of the game and knowledge with our entire Pokemon TCG community. If you haven't already, help signal boost this video to other Pokemon TCG fans by liking it, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we reach our goals really soon. Check out this recommended video, and have yourself a great day. Thanks.